Welcome to the 30 Days of Clawhammer Banjo. This is a course designed to get you started playing Clawhammer Banjo by learning something new in each lesson. You'll learn a few tunes and a handful of techniques, and the goal is that by the end of this course, you'll have a foundation of technique and knowledge that will allow you to continue to learn from my videos, other teachers, or wherever you choose to go after this. This is the 30 days of Clawhammer Banjo, but it doesn't need to be 30 consecutive days. Feel free to take as much time as you need with any of these lessons, pause and rewind when you need to see something again, and feel free to revisit older lessons if you feel that it would be helpful. There is no reward for finishing this course in 30 days or in any amount of time that forces you to move faster than you're comfortable. This is the only lesson in this series with a lengthy introduction. The others are fairly short. So if you want to skip ahead, feel free, but otherwise, here's where I think you should start. First of all, what is Clawhammer Banjo? Well, one simple definition would be to say that it's a playing style defined by the alternating use of the index finger and thumb, and it's a way that we can play melody, chords, and rhythm on one instrument. Sounds like this. But I think it's worth acknowledging that modern clawhammer is kind of a homogenized collection of techniques dating back through Appalachia and the Southeast in the 18 and 1900s, the playing styles of enslaved people in the 16 and 1700s, and then back further to the origins of the banjo in West Africa, where similar instruments are still played to this day in a similar style to what we now call clawhammer. This series couldn't possibly contain all the nuance of that history, but it's interesting, and it also tells a really unique and poignant story of the history of the United States, so I'll leave some resources in the comments where you can check that out. Simply put, this is how many people play clawhammer these days, but at the end of the day, you can play however you like. There are no rules. This course is designed for the 5-string banjo. You can play any style on any kind of banjo, but if your banjo doesn't have 5 strings with the short one on top like this, then this course won't work for you. Before we can play, we have to make sure we're in tune. To begin, we'll tune the banjo to what we call standard G tuning. Feel free to use an electronic tuner or an app on your phone, but otherwise I'll play each string and just try to match the pitch of each one, starting from what we call the first string closest to the ground, D, B, G, D, G. It's okay if you have to do this a couple of times to get it right, and it's okay if you have to frequently retune the banjo. Once you're reasonably in tune, here's how to hold the banjo. There are 2 common positions for the banjo in clawhammer style. The first is to let the banjo rest between your legs with the neck angled somewhere around 45 degrees. This doesn't have to be exact, but for now, just make sure you're not holding the banjo horizontally like this, or pointed up at a more extreme angle like this. You may also see some banjo players put the banjo on their right leg, with the pot of the banjo somewhat under their arm. I play both ways, depending on where I'm sitting, but for now it's worth finding something that feels comfortable and sticking with it for the time being. Now, finally, let's play the banjo. To start, with an almost closed hand, we're going to use primarily our wrist to strike the first string with the back of the index finger on the fingernail, like this. Some people prefer index, some prefer middle, but I like using my index finger. At the same time, when your striking finger hits the first string, land with your thumb on the fifth string, like this. It can involve some of your arm or your hand, but we're not plucking the string with our finger. The finger stays stationary, and the motion comes from the wrist. You may find that either your striking finger or thumb makes a sound when it hits the head of the banjo. Over time, you'll build the technique to avoid this if you want. So if it bothers you, then you can focus on using less force when you play. That said, you want to practice at the volume you want to play. Once you feel that you can consistently strike the first string without accidentally hitting adjacent strings, we can add the thumb. Start by striking the first string, again landing your thumb on the fifth string with enough weight to bend the string slightly. To play the fifth string, you don't need to move your thumb. Instead, raise your hand as if to play the first string again, and due to the weight you've put on the first string, you'll pluck it just with the motion of your hand. As long as you've landed on the fifth string with a little force, you'll naturally pluck it as you move your hand. This, like the initial strike, can take some time to get used to, but like all things, will feel natural with practice, provided you have a clear idea of what you're trying to do and the persistence to keep trying. Now try getting a consistent rhythm going between your index and thumb. We want to give each of these notes equal time, alternating between index finger and thumb. As you get comfortable, you can speed up a little. This technique is called the double thumb, which may not mean much to you now, but as we continue this series, you'll understand that it's just one of the things we do that's worth giving a specific name. For today, this is all you need to practice. This basic technique is the foundation of everything we're going to learn in this series, so there's no reason to rush through it. You don't have to be able to play it particularly fast. Instead, focus on accuracy and keeping consistent rhythm. By the way, this series is completely free, but if you're interested in more banjo lessons or more banjo content, or you'd just like to support this channel, then you can do so by going to patreon.com/EliGilbertBanjo, and there's a link in the description where you can find that. Additionally, because you're new to Clawhammer and potentially old-time music in general, I'll end each lesson by sharing a banjo player I think you should know about. Nearly all of these players, with only a few exceptions, are alive, performing, and recording today, and I suggest that you show them support if you find that their playing and their music moves you. The first player that I'll share is one of my favorites, and particularly inspiring to my own practice, Allison DeGroot. I'll leave some links in the description where you can find some examples of her great playing. Anyway, that's all for now. See you next time.